for 20 minutes and Singtel managed to divert traffic to 2 unaffected chambers, but the damage was done. In a statement, the Infocomm Development Authority of Singapore said that the 3 operators had not fulfilled their respective obligations, such as to provide sufficiently resilient telecommunication systems and services, and to restore services to affected end users as quickly as possible when the disruptions occurred. In particular, the disruptions could have been prevented had Singtel enforced its standard operating procedures and work safety practices. IDA also said Singtel did not have specific contingency plans to address serious service failures of such a scale as the Bukit Panjang incident. In response, Singtel said it accepts IDA's findings and has taken steps to ensure similar incidents will not occur. Its group CEO added that the telco has made good progress in the areas of fire prevention, network design and stakeholder engagement. IDA said that following the incident, the operators have conducted their own investigations and have proposed measures to address their various shortcomings. The IDA also said it has already embarked on a review of the resilience of Singapore's Infocomm infrastructure. And some of the areas covered in the review include examining potential failure points and strengthening diversity in critical infrastructure and services. In addition, IDA has worked with the industry to put in place a set of operating procedures to improve inter-operator communication during major service disruptions.
We'd like to welcome Dr. Goh Moh Heng. He is the president of the Business Continuity Management Institute here in Singapore.
Dr. Goh, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so Singtel's been fined this record amount of money, $6 million. Does it really send the right signal, though, to companies, even non-telco companies, about resilience planning?
I think the fine is in accordance to the act that has been provided in 2008. But I think the more important thing is organization now will have to begin to think about having some sort of business continuity plan. But I think the key behind this message is this: is it complete or is it incomplete? How complete would it be?
Well, that's the question. What kind of contingency planning should a telco have in place, and how complete can it be? Because I'm sure there'll be situations that you cannot predict, right?
Yes. I think to be fair to telcos, they are very big. But what we can do from a organizational point of view, be it telco or any other organization, is to focus on a list of prioritization. Example, the first list is normally dealing with the national security requirement. Example, what is the infrastructure that supports the security of Singapore? The next list will be what is the next prioritized list, and they work from there onwards. So this process is called risk assessment. I think it is not fair to get the telco to complete the entire business plan because it's really too big. But my comment would be to say, let's have this list, work with the regulators and say, this is what we are going to perform. We're going to set it up in due course, because we are still in the business of making money.
So are you saying then that the onus isn't just on businesses to have that list of priorities? I mean, what more could the IDA, for example, do to assist them in this?
I think the key in the authorities is to focus on helping them with the priority. The prioritization is very important, because even with this priority list, what makes you so sure that other parts of the telco are not affected by disaster? So if they are affected by disaster, they'll get fined again. Right? So what you can do is, we still have to prioritize. The world is not a fair place in that sense, but the key is that we have this list. We're working towards getting the telco to be more resilient. But I'm not saying that it will not happen again, because it will happen again.
And I guess part of it is also the reaction to the situation, how fast they can come back to fix the issue or the problem, right? I mean, we don't expect smooth sailing all the time, but I guess it's also how long a delay might occur in the interim.
I think the whole saga has a few components. One is that it started from an open fire. I think if that actually is normally not governed by business continuity, governed by some form of incident management or workplace safety, whereby someone would have been supervised. I mean, having said that, is on hindsight, so it's 2020. However, only when should the incident be prevented, this whole saga will not have happened. But should it happen, that's where business continuity plan comes in. So I guess to answer your question, that's one part. The second part is to make sure that there's a form of communication from a crisis point of view, how we do communicate. I guess the consumer will be unhappy, the authorities are unhappy. But I think the more important thing is to at least state the facts, tell them what's going on, and that may cushion off people. I think the expectation, as I mentioned, the expectation of Singaporeans are actually very high, and it's causing a lot of loads on service provider, because to maintain 99.9999 is still half an hour downtime.
So having that transparency is essential, especially as far as the consumers are concerned. But for Singapore companies here now, for companies that here in Singapore, how much importance do they really place on business continuity planning, and do they know just how important it is?
I think all companies in Singapore are aware of what's business continuity. Unfortunately, I'm going to tell you something that's an irony. We are both blessed and cursed. We are blessed because we are surrounded by big chunks of islands around us, which prevent us from having natural disaster. If I may say, we are cursed because of all this. We do not have natural disaster, and hence it builds a sense of complacency in businesses to say, hey guys, we won't be affected by the big ones. However, you and I know we could be disrupted for 1 hour, 2 hours a day from a small fire. But most organizations in Singapore do not see that as a big issue for now. And I guess this has there's a need to push organizations to at least start thinking about, if something happens, what do you do? Who do you call? How do you get it up within the next 2 hours or so?
So at least you have a greater awareness of what could possibly occur.
That's right, yes.
All right, thank you, Dr. Goh, for coming and sharing your insights with us. Dr. Goh Moh Heng, President of the Business Continuity Management Institute here in Singapore.
Now let's tell you about a new